The ship trembled slightly as it descended through the thick, copper-colored atmosphere of Keres 9. Commander Lyra Vance gripped the armrest of her chair, her sharp eyes scanning the viewport. The planet was wild, almost untouched, a jumble of jagged mountains, glowing mineral lakes, and dense forests stretching endlessly. Her cadets were quiet around her, their young faces pressed to the glass, full of awe and nervous excitement. "Status report," Lyra said, her voice calm but commanding. Lieutenant Jaren, her second-in-command, checked the scanner panel. "Atmosphere breathable with minor filtration, Commander. No immediate threats detected. Sensors are picking up some unusual readings on the eastern plains." Lyra raised an eyebrow. "Unusual readings?" "Genetic signatures, Commander. They don't match anything in the human database, except for a faint marker labeled Ancestral Earthline." The words made Lyra pause. That term had appeared only in classified files, stories whispered in the academy but never confirmed. According to old records, the Ancestral Earthline referred to the earliest humans who had first ventured into space, their descendants now almost forgotten. To see that marker here, on a distant frontier world, was unexpected. She leaned forward, studying the readings. "Keep scanning. I want the cadets ready, and tell them nothing yet. No sense panicking anyone over what we don't understand." The landing sequence finished with a low thrum as the ship touched down gently on a plateau near a shimmering blue lake. Lyra activated the external lights. Mist rose from the lake in soft clouds, and the jagged mountains glowed faintly under the planet's twin suns. The cadets scrambled to gather their gear, their excitement barely contained. Lyra followed, moving with purpose. "Stay alert. This is a frontier world and anything could be waiting for us." As they stepped onto the alien soil, the cadets noticed the ground itself seemed alive. Tiny plants shifted subtly, as if reacting to their presence. Some of the cadets whispered in awe. Lyra didn't comment. She simply scanned the horizon, noting strange shapes in the distance, rock formations that seemed almost deliberately arranged, and faint energy signatures she couldn't immediately explain. "Cadets," she called, "pair up and stay within sight. We move as a team. Remember your training." The young soldiers nodded, their expressions a mix of nerves and determination. Lyra could see potential in them. Raw talent that had yet to be honed. She had trained countless cadets before, but something about Keres 9 made her instincts prick with anticipation. As they moved toward the eastern plains, the readings from the scanners grew stronger. "Commander," Jaren said, pointing to the holographic display, "whatever this is, it's getting more concentrated. The marker matches human DNA, but ancient human DNA almost extinct." Lyra frowned. "Extinct or dormant?" Before Jaren could answer, the ground trembled beneath their feet. Lyra instinctively raised her hand, signaling the cadets to stop. A low hum filled the air, and the mist around the lake thickened. Shadows moved among the mountains, fast, precise, intelligent. "Aliens," Lyra whispered. She didn't need the scanners to confirm it. They were here. Observing. The cadets stiffened, hands going to their weapons. Lyra's voice cut through the tension. "Stay calm. Don't fire unless I say. Observe and report. We don't know what they want." A figure emerged from the mist. Tall, lithe, with armor that shimmered like liquid metal. Its face was masked, but its movements were calculated, almost ceremonial. Lyra took a step forward, her own weapon at the ready, though she didn't raise it. "I am Commander Lyra Vance," she said, her voice steady. "We come in peace. We mean no harm." The figure paused. Then, in a voice that resonated more in her mind than through sound, it replied. Lyra felt her stomach tighten, but she held her ground. "You carry the line of the old world," the alien said. "The Earth line. Its blood moves within you." Jaren's eyes widened. He looked at Lyra as if seeing her for the first time. The cadets whispered among themselves. That blood. The words hung in the air, a mix of awe and fear. Lyra didn't flinch. She had felt the presence of the ancestral Earthline before, in her reflexes and instincts, but hearing it spoken aloud was different. Your planet is rich and dangerous, Lyra said. We seek only to explore, not to claim. But we will defend ourselves if threatened. The alien's blade shimmered as it shifted slightly, a warning more than a threat. Lyra's heart rate quickened, but she relied on training and instinct. She moved her hand in a subtle arc, redirecting the energy pulse from the blade with a perfect parry. Sparks danced in the air, illuminating the mist. The cadets gasped. Lyra felt their eyes on her, their whispered awe growing. That blood, a cadet murmured again, and Lyra saw in their expressions not fear, but inspiration. The alien commander recoiled slightly, not expecting such precision. Lyra held her stance, calm and unwavering. We are not weak, she said. We are humans, and we adapt. The figure retreated into the mist, leaving behind a lingering hum. Lyra exhaled slowly, feeling the tension drain from her shoulders. The cadets gathered around, murmuring questions and admiration. Jaren approached her quietly. Commander, what was that? That skill, it's beyond normal. Lyra gave him a small, tight smile. It's in my blood, but more importantly, it's in all of us. Humans survive because we adapt, we think, and we act when others hesitate. Remember that, Jaren. Teach it to your cadets. The line of Earth, the old line, is more than DNA. It's instinct. It's courage. It's the fire in us that refuses to die. As the sun dipped behind the mountains, casting long shadows over Cadet 9, Lyra felt a strange connection to this world. The planet seemed alive, not in hostility, but in recognition. Somewhere deep in the soil, the lakes, and the air, it acknowledged the ancestral Earthline. She didn't yet understand why, but she would. For now, the cadets needed her guidance. She called them together, her voice steady and clear. Tomorrow we move inland. Scan everything, learn everything, but do not provoke. Keep your minds sharp. Humanity survives because we see the unseen. Act before the threat becomes danger, and trust in our instincts. We are the line of Earth, and Cadet 9 may just be the beginning of what we can do. That night, under the twin suns' fading light, the cadets huddled near their ship, talking in low whispers. Some glanced at Lyra with awe, others with questions they dared not voice. But all of them felt it, the pulse of the ancestral Earthline, the fire that ran in their veins, and the knowledge that their leader was something extraordinary. Lyra watched them, her mind alert even in moments of rest. She knew this was only the beginning. Cadet 9 was a world of challenges, secrets, and dangers, and somewhere in its mists, the alien commander would return. But when he did, humanity would be ready, because the Earthline survived, and it would fight, adapt, and triumph. The morning light cut through the mist of Cadet 9, painting the plateau in shades of orange and silver. Commander Lyra Vance stood at the edge of the landing site, her gaze fixed on the eastern plains. The ancestral Earthline marker in her blood seemed to pulse with energy, a quiet rhythm that echoed through her mind and body. She could feel it today more strongly than ever. Lieutenant Jaren approached cautiously, scanning the area with a handheld device. Commander, the readings are stronger than last night. Whatever left those traces, it's not far. Lyra nodded, adjusting her uniform. Good. That means we're not imagining things. Prepare the cadets. Today, they'll see what I was trained to see. The difference between instinct and fear. The cadets gathered quickly, brushing off the damp morning dew. Some were still jittery from yesterday's encounter, their whispers filled with awe and uncertainty. That blood. The words lingered in their minds. Lyra knew they were beginning to understand something, even if they couldn't yet name it. "Listen up," she began, her voice firm. "Today we move east. We explore, but we remain alert. Whatever is on this planet, it's intelligent and it's aware of us. I want your eyes sharp, your instincts sharper. Remember, humans survive because we adapt." The cadets nodded, straightening their shoulders. Among them was Cadet Mira, the youngest, with wide eyes and quick reflexes. Lyra had been keeping a close watch on her. Mira had potential, raw talent, but still unshaped. As they began the march, the terrain shifted from smooth plains to jagged rock formations. The wind carried a metallic scent, and Lyra's senses heightened. Every shadow, every subtle movement drew her attention. The ancestral earthline in her blood whispered strategies to her, instincts her cadets could not yet feel. Suddenly, a sharp hum vibrated through the ground. Lyra's hand shot out, signaling the cadets to stop. The alien commander appeared once more, moving with the grace of a predator. His blade shimmered with energy, curved and precise, reflecting the morning sun. "Commander," Jaren whispered. "He's back, and he's faster than before." Lyra's lips tightened. "Good. Let's see if he's faster than us." The cadets froze, their weapons ready but uncertain. Lyra stepped forward alone, positioning herself between the aliens and her team. She felt the surge of her ancestral instincts, a quiet confidence that had been passed down through countless generations of human explorers and warriors. The alien struck first, a swift arc of energy designed to incapacitate. Lyra moved instinctively, twisting her wrist and redirecting the blade. Sparks erupted where energy met energy, a bright flare that momentarily blinded the cadets. Mira gasped, stumbling back, and Jaren's eyes widened in surprise. "That's impossible," Jaren muttered. Lyra ignored him. Every movement flowed naturally, a combination of observation, anticipation, and ancestral instinct. The alien commander struck again and again, each attack precise, deadly, but each one met by Lyra's calm, measured parries. The cadets watched, mesmerized. Whispered among themselves was the phrase that had already begun to haunt their minds. That blood. Lyra felt it too, the pulse of the earthline. It wasn't just reflexes, it was clarity. Her senses were heightened, her mind processing each threat before it arrived. She was more than human at that moment, not in strength, but in instinct. Finally, the alien commander stepped back, pausing mid-strike. "You bear the line of old Earth," he said. His voice carried a weight of recognition, respect, and something else. Wariness. Lyra lowered her weapon slightly but kept her stance firm. "I am human, and we adapt. That is why we survive." The alien commander regarded her for a long moment, then retreated silently into the jagged rocks, disappearing as if swallowed by the planet itself. The cadets exhaled, their tension breaking. Mira looked at Lyra with awe. "Commander, how did you do that?" Lyra smiled faintly. "Because humans survive. Because we anticipate, adapt, and never rely solely on strength. And because the blood we carry remembers what we sometimes forget." They continued their march eastward, the alien presence lingering like a shadow. Lyra guided the cadets to a narrow valley between two cliffs. The scanner readings were stronger here, pulsing in waves that seemed almost alive. Lyra crouched, placing a hand on the soil. "This planet, it responds to us," she murmured. The cadets glanced at her, confused. "The readings?" Jaren asked. Lyra shook her head. "Not the readings, us. The Earthline is resonating with the planet. Our ancestors left echoes everywhere. They explored, adapted, and survived in ways we barely understand." That connection. It's waking here. Cadet Mira knelt beside her, touching the ground. So, you mean we're connected to this place? Lyra nodded. Partly. But it's more than the blood. It's courage, adaptation, observation. It's what humans have always done when faced with the unknown. That is why we survive. As they moved deeper into the valley, the terrain grew stranger. Rocks seemed arranged in patterns, and faint glimmers of light danced along the walls. Lyra's senses heightened again. Small vibrations beneath her feet, subtle shifts in the wind, almost like a heartbeat. She knew instinctively that this was the alien commander's territory, but she also knew that humans were meant to face the unknown, not avoid it. Suddenly, the hum of energy flared. The alien commander appeared again, faster and more aggressive than before. This time, he didn't aim to kill. He aimed to test, to push Lyra beyond her limits. The cadets tensed, unsure if they should intervene. Lyra raised a hand. "Watch and learn." The fight began. The alien struck with lightning speed, but Lyra anticipated every move. She ducked, twisted, and redirected the energy blade with such precision that it almost seemed effortless. The cadets whispered in amazement, each time repeating the words they couldn't forget. That blood. That blood. Finally, Lyra caught the alien commander's blade mid-strike and pushed it aside, stepping forward. "Enough," she said firmly. "You test humans, but you will see. We survive because we think, we adapt, and we do not falter." The alien commander paused, then slowly withdrew, retreating into the mists again. Lyra felt the energy in her body calm, the pulse of the earthline slowing but still strong. Jaren approached her carefully. "Commander, your skills, the cadets, even we've never seen anything like that. It's beyond training." Lyra looked at him, her expression serious. "It's not beyond training, it's instinct. It's what humans carry in our blood, in our minds, in our courage. That is why we survive, and that is why your cadets will survive. Remember this day. You all saw it, and one day you will teach others the same lesson. Humans adapt. Humans endure. Humans win." The cadets nodded, inspired, their whispers still carrying the words, "That blood. That blood." As the day ended, Lyra led her team to a safe plateau overlooking the valley. The twin suns dipped low, casting long shadows across the jagged terrain. She allowed herself a brief moment of reflection. Caris 9 was alive with secrets, dangers, and wonders, but it was also a place that tested humanity in ways she had never imagined, and she knew the alien commander would return. But when he did, humanity would be ready. Not just because of strength or weapons, but because of instinct, courage, and the fire of the ancestral earthline running in their veins. Lyra watched the horizon as the cadets set up a temporary camp. "Rest tonight," she said softly. "Tomorrow we explore deeper. We learn, we adapt, and we survive. That is what humans do." Under the fading light, the cadets whispered again, almost reverently, "That blood, that blood." Lyra smiled quietly, knowing they had begun to understand something important. This was more than DNA. It was legacy, instinct, and the spark of humanity that refused to die, no matter the challenge.